Good morning students, welcome to the session on operating system. In our previous lecture, we have seen processes or as operations performed on processes, I can say. There we have seen two operations like one is process creation, and the second one is process termination. Do remember the topic. Each and every topic is very important when you are concerned with your competitive examinations. See, in our academic session they may ask few things, but when you are going for further education, when you are attempting the competitive examinations which are based on your computer skills, then your operating system will play a key role, I can say. See, in our today's session we are going to discuss inter-process communication. By the name itself you can understand, you people know already what is communication. Communication is a process where we people will exchange the information. Okay, we are doing this communication in what? In our inter-processes, the processes which are there in your system. In between those processes we are making a communication. For that reason we are reading a topic called inter-process communication. Why do we need this inter-process communication? Means before getting into that particular topic we need to understand what kind of processes that we have in our system. Okay, see this. In our system we will be having two kind of processes, I can say, in generally. Okay, one is independent process and the second one is cooperative process or as cooperating processes. Okay, see here, in the first case we will not be having any requirement of inter-process communication. Why? Just see this. Independent process is a process that cannot affect or cannot be affected by the execution of another process. A process that does not share data with any other processes is independent process. Means independent process is a process which will not depend on any process and which will not have anything to other processes. Means to say that it won't take any help and it will not give any help to other processes. Those kind of processes are called as independent processes. For example, say suppose if you are working at your home, then there is no need of any lecturer. Okay, but if you are studying something, then there is a need of lecturer. Working at home is an independent work. Means you are not dependent on any other person. Like that, if you are not dependent on any other processes and if you are not serving to any other process, then those kind of processes are called as independent process. You should not take help from other processes. You should not share any data to other process. Those kind of processes are called as independent process. And second one that we are having is cooperating processes. By the name itself you can understand that we will be cooperating with each other. Means to say that one process will help to other process and other process will be having some effect when we are affecting the existing processes. Means to say that it is a process that can affect or can be affected by other process. Okay, it can affect other process or else when we are affecting the other process it will be get affected. Okay, a process that shares the data with other process is cooperating process. It is generally taken in a consideration that in a real life also we will be having the communication in a cooperative manner only. We will be communicating with other peoples by sharing the information, by sharing something we will be having the communication between the persons. Okay, like that only when we are executing multiple processes, when we are having number of processes within a system, then each and every process must be communicative, must be cooperative so that they can complete their execution. Then see advantages of your cooperating process. In this particular case, in this particular cooperating process case, we need inter-process communication, that is abbreviated as IPC. Okay, inter-process communication. And why we are going for this particular inter-process communication. See here, these are the advantages when we are going for cooperating processes. In order to reach them, we need to have inter-process communication. The first point that they are saying is information sharing. Number of processes will be executing and it needs some data while it is executing itself. Then the information must be shared between the processes. That will happen when we are using cooperating processes, and it will be done by using the inter-process communication. Okay, computation speed up. See here, while we are having a large program, it is similar to your modularity also. See here, when we are having a largest program, we will be dividing them into pieces, modules, I can say, and when we are executing that, then we will be executing all the modules at the same time, and each and every module will be helping other modules, other processes, I can say, in order to increase the computation speed. In the same way, we will be approaching the modularity. Means to say that we will be having a largest program that will be divided into number of modules, and those modules will be executed individually and they will be cooperating with each other, and finally they will be kept together in order to give the result and see the convenience. Okay, when we are executing number of processes, we need to have some convenience when we are shifting from one process to other process. In order to reach all these things, we will be executing the process in a kind of cooperating process. In order to reach those cooperating processes, we will be using the concept called IPC, inter-process communication. When we are having number of processes, when we are having sharing of information, when we have some effect, when we are changing any process, then those processes will be managed by your inter-process communication. It is mandatory in order to communicate with your processes that are existing in your systems, I can say. Okay, we have seen the reasons why we are going for IPC, that is inter-process communication. When we are having cooperating processes, we must and should have the IPC, inter-process communication, in order to communicate with the processes. Okay, and see, these inter-process communication can be done in two ways. One is shared memory and the second one is message passing. By the name itself, you can understand few things. Okay, shared memory means we will be having a region of memory, we will be having a separate region where we will be calling that as shared memory. In this shared memory, I will be putting some data that can be shared by other processes. Say suppose process A want to share some data that I will be putting in my shared memory, and process B want to receive that data. It will be putting the data into shared memory. From the shared memory, process B will accept that particular data. And again, when process B want to share some memory or else share some data to process A, that will be kept in your shared memory, and from shared memory, your process A will accept the data. Like this, we will be having a block of region. We will be having a region of data which can be stored, storing our data which is shared by other processes. Okay, in this way we will be sharing the data information, I can say. Okay, and the second one is message passing. Here the data or the information will be passed in the form of message. To whom we are passing? Directly we will be passing that to your kernel. Okay, kernel will manage all the messages, first message, second message, third message. Every time that it is receiving the messages, it will be holding the destination process. Process B want to receive the message, process A want to receive the message. Say suppose process A want to share the message M1, and that will be sent to your kernel, and kernel will receive the message. Along with that, M1 has to be shared with process B. Then this M1 message will be sent to your process B, like this. Okay, kernel will be involved in this particular part. already we know about the kernel. Kernel is a part of your operating system where we will be having the direct communication to your hardware components, I can say. Okay, but in this case we are not using any kernel directly, but in this case directly we are sending the message or else the data to your kernel through the kernel, then we are sharing the data. Okay, in this particular one we will be having a shared memory or else a block of region where we will be putting the data that has to be shared. By seeing the picture, you people will be having the clarity. Now let us understand the concept by seeing this. See here, this is your shared memory and this is your message passing. See here, in the shared memory we are having a shared memory block or else a particular space where we can put our data which has to be shared by other process. Process A want to share the data that will be kept in your shared memory, and this shared memory will be consisting some data now that has to be received by whom? Process B. Like this, if it is having some other process also, it will be going for the shared memory and again process C. Again shared memory, process C. Like that, we will be having number of processes and shared memory from which we will be sharing the data. And then we are having message passing. See here, process A want to send some message to process B. Directly it won't send to your process B. This message will be sent to your kernel. Kernel will receive this message and kernel will know that this message has to be sent to whom? Process B. This is the step 1. This is the step. Like this, it will be communicating the data, communicating the information, I can say, or else passing the information, I can say. In this way, in your shared memory, it will be passing the message. In this way, it will be passing the message in this way, I can say. I hope it is clear to you people. If you are having any doubts, just let me know by your comment so that I can clarify you people and we will go for the next topic. That's it for now. See you in the next one. Thank you.